Lufthansa is forced to cancel 20,000 flights due to the energy crisis in Europe, and it's just getting worse, not getting any better. Guys, welcome to the channel, and as you probably know, and this is all over the world, but impacting Europe, especially in terms of gas, Commission proposes action to protect Europeans from the fossil energy crisis and accelerate the shift to clean, homegrown energy. Yeah, good luck with that, which has an enormous amount of challenges on its own. But the 28 billion counting European tally is the cause of another energy crisis, and this is bad all around. There's really no other way of putting it. How is this going to be fixed? Well, you need to end the war in the Gulf. And is that going to happen anytime soon? Of course not. Now, the energy crisis is global. It's not just Europe, even though more of the mainstream media focuses on Europe in general. But the reality is a little bit more complex than that, especially if you're watching this in the United States and you're thinking, we're good. Yeah, kind of. If you look at it in terms of inflation and tariffs and fuel prices going up, what is it, a gallon, $4, is it? Let me know in the comments how much you're paying for that right now. I came up with this is from the AI from Google. Cumulative increases in prices from 2019 to 2026. Consumer prices in U.S. rose by over 26% by December 2025, compared to 22% in Germany, 19% in Italy, and 15% in France. So yeah, Germany is doing pretty bad, and it's known. The European economy, especially in Germany, is going through a very rough time. It's been a few years now. It's not just because of the war, but if you compare it to some of the other countries, you know, it's significant. 26%, 15%, that is a difference. Recent annual inflation, U.S. annual inflation rose to 3.3% in March. In contrast, European inflation was lower at roughly 2.5%. Again, it's not insignificant. It's pretty large. And by the way, all of these numbers, I honestly would multiply them for whatever you want. Multiply them by 2, 3, 5. These numbers really do not reflect how much prices have gone up in general for the average human being that just wants to buy groceries, pay bills, pay a mortgage, rent, buy something. These are the prices that they just select carefully and throw in their cost of things that for the average person anywhere in the world means nothing. But hey, cooking the numbers is nothing new. Tariff impact. New tariffs imposed by U.S. on goods from Europe, China, EU, Mexico have made imported goods more expensive, with European goods costing U.S. consumers roughly 30% more in the year ending December 2025. What about the China products? Because those are massive. The jump, so energy and tariffs, the jump in early 2026, U.S. inflation to 3.3 was driven by rising energy costs. So as you see, it's not, and yeah, in terms of the tariffs, household costs as of March 2026, the American faces the average tariff rate of 70%. That is huge. The highest since 1935, adding approximately $2,300 in costs per household in 2025. And we'll see how 2026 ends up going, but it's rough, man. It's not easy. It's getting far more expensive, and everywhere in the world people are struggling very bad. I just noticed that there's more of an agenda and media control in many of these things in US than in Europe, where it's everything is fucking a disaster. Is a fucking disastrous. Just looking at this sort of information from the energy crisis, which is one of those big topics all over Europe, and some countries fare better than others because they have better access to energy. So that's the part of strategically choosing where you're going to be and the cost of living in one place versus the other, and which things are more fragile, delicate, and more vulnerable to these global changes. That's all part of, well, doing what we do here, which is being prepared. Guys, see you next time.